Wow, we are being recorded. All right, you guys, thanks for coming today. This is the last class of the book number 134, and you voted that our last song should be My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic, and you overwhelmingly voted for this one. So, what a wonderful song to end with. Next week, we will start, once again, I've already done this, but we will start in book number 15. We will go song by song. And yes, we're going to skip one or two in here, but I will have worksheets. So check Patreon this week for the first worksheet here. Okay? It's still going to be Dawn's 11 o'clock class, but instead of being called the Advanced Intermediate class, it's going to be called Happy Fingers 3. But it's still going to be the 11 o'clock Friday class. All right, here we go with My Heart Will Go On. It does come in song setup. I do not have a preset arrangement for you on this. What I do have is some one-button pushes that we can all do, and you just have to fill in your book where they are. Okay, so I didn't do a lot of changes. I'm doing one-button changes starting with song setup. So I didn't just take song setup at face value. I said, okay, I want to change this, I'm going to change this, and then as we go through the song, we're still going to make an arrangement, but it's going to be one button pushes. When we start the song, I wrote this out a long time ago, and I should have put a line in between here, because the first 3 lines are the intro, and the last 3 lines are the ending. So when you get this, print it out, cut it in half, and the intro goes over here, and the ending is going to go on page 161. Oh, here comes Owen. We have to let him in. The ending is going to go on the last 2 lines of 161. We're going to, you can actually just take those 3 lines and cut it apart and tape it or paste it right here over the top of those 2 lines, and that's going to be your ending. Okay, because if you take a look at what's there now, it's chord, rest, 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 oh, oh, oh. That's not how the song ends, for Pete's sake. So, so we're going to use an ending, and I think we're going to like it a lot. Now, why can't I just use the intro and the ending? You use the intro, same as the ending, because the song changes keys in midstream. Okay, so watch for where the song changes keys. It goes from the key of F to the key of G at the end. So it's actually being transposed up to, but it's doing it for you. So you don't do anything with the transpose. You just play the notes that are there. So when you do song setup, it comes up to easy 4/4 at 64 with the alter. Now on the smaller instruments, it's smooth full band, and that's going to give you pretty much the exact same sounds. All right, so why am I changing it? Well, first of all, 64, if you've played this at 64, you're dragging. It is so slow. So we're going to speed it up a little bit, anywhere between 75 and 80. Speed it up a little bit. So you're going to first put your tempo up. Second of all, turn your introduction off, because you're going to be playing the introduction. We're not going to use the introduction that is given. Second of all, we like the sound that's on top. The sound that's on top is piano strings. Perfect sound for this. But the sound on the bottom has strings with a flute and a flute. It's too stringy. It's way too stringy of a sound. So what we're going to do is turn off, here comes Miss Nancy, we're going to turn off those strings, but we're going to leave the flutes on, because what we want is a flute sound. Now in song setup, those 2 sounds are there, and you want to look on the marquees and arias, look on your sounds and see which sounds are going lower. You should have a pan flute and a jazz flute going lower. If you just can find a pan flute, that works perfectly as well. If you're on the A series or the SU series, the blue solos in song setup come up to Genius 1, and if you touch it, it's going to say pan flute, and jazz flute, and they're both touched. It doesn't matter which one's flashing because there's only one command. Remember, one command, they're both going to wherever you're telling it to go. And it says lower right. Now, you've also got a genius blinking in the red. So find where that sound is that's going down that says strings and turn it off. So how do I do that on the SU and A organs? The upper on piano has to stay. The blinky genius has to be turned off, and the lower right command has to be turned off. So that the only thing you have on in your red orchestrals is upper on piano. Did I lose you yet? This is the hardest part right here, is just getting the initial setup.
Yeah. Yes, you lost me.
Where did I lose you, Barbara?
Well, I found the pan flute and I turned off the, you said turn off the genius number 2 or number 1 or 2?
Nope, on the blue, on your blue, that pretty much is everything you want. Leave it there.
Okay.
Okay, because the genius 1 is pan flute, it's already on, and the jazz flute is also already on.
Okay.
Okay, so you just leave that where it is. So where is that string sound coming from? The string sound, let me actually go back to song setup. All right, song setup. You up the tempo, you turn off the introduction, and then you come over here. The blue section's already good because it says lower right, jazz flute blinking, and pan flute solid, and they're both going to the lower, and that's what you want. But too stringy. You don't want the strings. So where are the strings coming from? It has to be the blinky genius 2 in the red orchestral.
Right.
So the easy thing is to turn off the lower right because you don't want that sound going down.
Okay.
Believe it or not,
the blinking genius 2?
you have to turn that one off. But be careful because when you turn that off, what happens? The piano also goes off. So basically all you really needed to do was touch the piano and then the blinky should go out. But you want to turn off that genius 2, the blinky, and then go back up and touch the piano and make sure that that's on because you want the piano to stay going to the upper keyboard.
Dawn,
Yes?
I have the Easy 10 up here now in Michigan.
Okay.
So the smooth full band,
Correct.
it comes up with strings on the top, but it's got sax on the bottom.
Yes, you want to change the sax to a pan flute or a regular flute, either one. So trying to think. On the Easy 10, you want to touch the one that's solid. Then you want to touch the blinky one, which is your sax.
Oh,
Okay, now once you touch the blinky one, it's going to show up in the window. Scroll until you get to flute.
okay.
Or your pan flute might actually be in the more. So you might want to hold your strings because that's going up.
Uh-huh.
Touch the more. The more is going to start flashing at the same time. The more is going to start flashing and it's going to show up in the window, and scroll to pan flute.
Okay.
Okay, and now it's flashing, so that means it's going to go to the bottom.
Okay. I'll have to try.
Yep,
I just got it the other day, so.
Yep, but that's how you do that. Yep. Well, if you've got the Easy 10 or the Easy 4, that's how you want to get that second sound, and you want to change it from the sax to a flute on the bottom. If you are unsure, if you didn't get it from what I just said, call your PA and set up an appointment and make sure that you go see him and say, okay, show me how to do this. Or you can email me 5028 at fletchermusic.com, and I can either call you and walk you through it, or hopefully I can explain it over the email.
Okay, thanks.
But give that a try because that is the hardest part of the Easy 10 and Easy 4 is trying to figure out how to get the solid one to stay and the blinky one to still keep blinking so it goes low.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions? Nope. Okay, because if you've got that flute on the bottom and you've got the piano strings on top, that's what you're looking for. This is always the hardest part of doing everything, is getting it set up. Okay, now remember, turn that introduction off because you don't want it. I think I had everything in E1. Yep, same thing. All right. I am going to play, and this I want you to listen and take your pencil and mark where I change things. And then you can try to remember, what did I change there? What's she doing to change things? Everything I do should be a one-button push to change things. All right, here we go. Okay. Did you like it?
Yeah, very nice.
Loved it.
Yeah, this was all just using song setup and just making a few adjustments, and then between changing hands with the octave and just doing some simple one button pushes, you can do some nice things without having the song sound exactly the same every single time. Now, if you wanted to do some different things, of course, you're welcome to do your presets and get all your presets done and, just keep them all in order, and then you do one button pushes down the line. But I wanted to not do the preset sheet this time and just have you do one button things that you can do while you're playing.
Dawn,
Yeah.
just make certain I get this right. You did not turn on the intro. No, you did not turn on the song itself, but you had your own intro going in there, right?
Yes.
So you
Now,
turned off.
I did turn on the song itself. I went to song setup and hit My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah,
And
okay,
then I changed a few things because I didn't like everything that was there.
right. But you turned off the intro and put in your own.
Correct.
Okay,
Absolutely correct.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I think it makes it sound a little bit more authentic because
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
does.
here comes the ship. Here it comes. Now, if I were Gene McDonald, I don't know if he's on today. If I were
No,
Gene
he's not.
McDonald, I would also go to my toy box and make sure I had, the
Yeah.
bell sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whistles and the surf and all
I
that stuff. So yeah,
Have you ever seen Marco do this one? He's got
yes, I
the
have.
end and all of that in his.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have seen him do it. Yep. But we're going to keep it a little simpler. But yeah, if you want, actually in the Genius, that bell is there. So if you wanted to start with that before you started with your flute, you could. Yep. Now, I wrote it very simply. Very simply. That's just quarter notes and, dotted half note and eighth notes. Very simply. So when you actually see this, it's going to be. But you heard me do some extra things. I did a little, what we call a turn. So what I did was this. Ooh. Now that just makes it a little fancier. Well, what did I do? G, A, G, F, G, C. It's just a little turn. Just you're on the G. G, A, G, F, G, back to the C. That's all it is. It's very easy, but it sounds really cool. You might not want to try it. You might want to throw it in one time. You might want to put it in every time you get to that part. But it just gives it a little bit more stuff. And sometimes when we can play a little bit more stuff, our friends go, "Oh, you're a genius. Wow."
You also threw is it a slide? Is that what it's called?
I did a glissando. I did a lot of glissandos in here
No,
because I went from.
No,
This
you
is with
did
your
a
foot
glide.
pedal.
Oh, I did a glide. Yes, I did. I did a glide.
Yeah.
That one. Yep, on the D, which is the first note that I have in line 2, you can put a little glide. Or you can just use the glide and not the little turn. Yep, if you just want to play it with a glide, it sounds pretty cool with that too.
That was nice.
Yeah, and those flutes are already there. You just got to get rid of the strings. Yep. And again, you're going to cut this in half. When you get this, you're going to cut this in half. The top 3 lines go to the intro because it's written in the key of F, and the bottom 3 lines are going to get pasted right over those last 2 lines on page 161. They fit perfectly. Okay? You're also going to cross out the last measure on page 61, line 3, the last measure with the D chord. Cross that out. We're going to stay on E minor until we play the ending. So cross out that last measure with the D chord. You're not going to play that chord. The E minor in the second to the last chord on line 3 is going to be the chord you stay on until you get to the ending.
Okay.
Okay? Now, did you notice that what else I did?
Did you throw a harp in there?
I did. I threw in a golden harp on page 160 when we changed the key. We changed the key. All those chords that you play with the rests that I was actually using lots of virtuosos, that goes to that E minor. E minor, remember, is the relative minor of the key of G. So we're actually right there going into the key of G because E minor and G are relative. How do I know that? Because what's the second note for easy play E minor? G.
Hey.
A minor and C are relative majors and minors because what's the second note that we play for A minor? C.
Oh, C.
So E minor and G are the relative chords. So I know I'm going into the new key right there. And so right before you get to your here, you're just going to push the golden harp and add it in. One button push.
And what, virtuoso, up, down?
I did lots of virtuosos
No,
with all
I mean
those.
the harp. What was the harp on?
Oh, the harp is golden harp. Find your golden harp.
But is it up and down? Is it up?
It's
Is it
up
down?
and down. Push number 1. It's the first pattern.
When do you take it off?
I took it off when I got to the ending. I played the first ending, and you can do it whenever it's comfortable for you. I played the first ending. Where am I here? With the golden harp. Play that one time. Then I turn the golden harp off because you want to slowly fade. So I'm getting rid of stuff. And you want to bring back your volume. Then you can hit your fade out buttons and continue playing it. Go back and repeat it. And just let it fade out on its own. If you do not have a fade out button, if you're on easy 10s or other ones that don't have the fade out, pull your foot all the way back slowly. And if you bring it all the way back and there's still sound, reach up to your master volume and just push it down until you faded it out to where you want to stop. Any questions?
Yeah, Dawn, I'm confused. Where did you say you take off the golden harp?
I played the first 1, 2, 3.
You didn't put it on until you went through the second ending. That's when you
I
put it on,
turned
right?
it, when I went to my ending, I turned
Yeah.
it halfway through.
Okay.
Halfway through. You'll know where it is.
Oh, okay.
You could actually turn it off right before you get to that ending.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Dawn,
the boat's going down. Oh, it's so sad. The boat's going down. Oh.
Dawn,
Yes.
could you please tell Robert to put this session on Patreon?
He
Oh, he
will.
does.
He does. He puts every
Yes.
section on. It just takes a day or two to come on before he can do it.
Okay, I need to go over this one several times.
Okay. All right. Now remember, if you put it on song setup and just play, you're successful. You don't have to worry about changing anything. I'm pushing you guys. It's the last class that I'm going to really be pushing you in on Fridays. Okay? But it's all one button pushes. So what actually am I doing? All right, let's go over it. We did the first part where we went to song setup and set it up. Okay? We upped the tempo just a bit between 75 and 80 so it doesn't drag. We turned off the strings on the bottom. We turned off the introduction so we could play this introduction.
okay.
Okay? That's to start it. Then, when we come into playing the first verse, every night in my dreams, you're going to start on this F, right in the middle of your keyboard, piano and strings. And you're going to play that all the way to By the way, there's no chord changes. Woohoo!
Yay!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 measures. The first 8 measures you're going to play right here.
The first time you went 8 VA, the second, third line.
Correct. The third line, where that F chord is, far across. You want to do 8 VA, which means go up the octave. So you would just write 8 VA, and that just tells you up the octave. So you're playing the same thing, just up the octave. Okay, now here, don't do anything yet, unless you have a marquee or an aria where you have the cascading AOC. That's a perfect spot to put on your cascading AOC, right before near and far. If you don't have that, see me after class. No, if you don't have that, don't do anything. Just continue playing. Third line. Now, right here, we're going to start playing 2 notes with the right hand. Not for every note, but under the F for once, you're going to put in a D directly under it.
Wait a minute, where are we?
We're on line 1, 2, 3, 4 of the second page. Third measure, once more.
All right.
So under the F, you're going to put a D. Now remember, this is optional too. So F
D.
and D at the same time. Under the G for more, put an E on the first line. The C, just play all by itself. Next line, under the C, you're going to put an F on the first space. So it's a long interval. Under the C, put an F on the first space. And just hold it for that whole measure. Under the G for door, play an E on the first line and hold that for the rest of the measure. Under the A for here, put an F on the first space and hold that for the whole measure. Well, you're going to have to lift your finger so that you can play the F again. The top of page 160. Under the E, put a C right under it and hold it for the whole measure. And under the E for heart, the first E in the second measure, put a B flat underneath it. And hold it for the whole measure. And under the A for the word on, the first beat of the third measure, put an E on the first line. And then the first ending, you're going to play a C under the F. Now don't worry about it for the second ending because we're going to do something different.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the top of page 160,
Uh-huh.
on first E, a heart, what was the note that goes there?
C. The C goes right underneath.
Okay, thank
So
you.
it's just two of them close together. Now, if you don't want to do those second notes, skip them.
They're good.
Do them. You don't have to do them. All right, now you have a first ending with some dots. If you want to make it a color, make it a color. Where's it going back to?
Beginning.
The beginning of the song, correct. So between the 4/4 and the F. Now the second time I played it, what did I do? I went down and played the first 8 measures on the lower keyboard.
Right.
I played the flute because I needed something a little different. Yep.
Is that the pan flute, Dawn?
Yep, the pan flute that you've got on the bottom. Just use that to play the first 8 measures.
I've got a pan flute on number 3 on mine, is on the bottom.
Yeah, but you don't want to change the piano strings.
Oh,
If you put it on
Okay.
song setup, it should already be there. You just got to take the strings out.
I have cornet for a lower keyboard.
Oh, interesting. Then you got to change
Yeah.
that one.
I got a
Yeah.
cornet for a lower keyboard too.
Ah, change it to your pan flute.
Yeah.
If you
Oh.
have trouble with it, depending on your organ, give me a call, give me an email, call your PA. We'll help you with that.
Okay.
All right. So the second time you're just going to go to the lower keyboard for the first 8 measures. Then when you get to where we went up the octave before, just play it down here.
Where are you going back? You're gonna play the flute to how far?
First 8 measures.
Okay,
Where you put the 8 VA before,
right.
you're just going to go back to the upper keyboard, but you're going to go to the middle of the upper keyboard. Now again, if you wanted to go up here, that's your choice. All right, now,
So you're going to, you said the middle,
yeah, don't go to this upper octave. Go to this,
oh,
this
okay.
middle
So
octave.
the regular, okay,
Uh-huh.
okay, got it.
When you get to the near far, you're going to add a duet. It's line 2, right before measure 2. Right
Okay.
between the A minor and D minor chord, you're going to add duet. Boom. Now you can play it in this octave or this octave, doesn't matter. That's totally up to you. But you're adding the duet. So this time, those second notes don't count. We just play it with the duet.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So this time we play it, every note's going to have a duet note. Now, when you get to the second ending, I did a virtuoso. Played the next chord, did a virtuoso. Played the B flat chord, did a virtuoso. Played the C chord, and then took the time to touch the golden harp. Okay? Okay, now, the last time, at the top of page 161, write 8 VA. Because now, with the golden harp and with the duet, now we're going to go up the octave. If you were already up the octave, that's fine. That's totally up to you. E minor. Now, whenever you're ready, you go to the lower keyboard and play your ending that you should have pasted right in there. Now I take the golden harp off and I start to bring my foot back. Hit the fade out. Then go back and play it again as much as you want.
Wow, that is awesome.
Dawn,
Yes.
I have a question.
Go
On
ahead,
page,
Miss Beverly.
on page 159, the second line,
Yes.
second measure, you
Yes.
added a duet to the upper.
Yes.
Okay,
Second time.
so when you drop down 1, 2, so why did we add the notes, on the fourth line and the fifth line? Because isn't that redundant because the duet is on, or did you turn it off and I missed it?
No, I told you not to play those second notes the second time because you
Right.
are correct. It is redundant. The first time you played it,
Oh,
now the first
missed
time you
that.
played it, you're playing single notes until you get to the double notes, and when you get to the double notes, it's just to give you something
yeah.
else to do.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But I was confused. I missed
Yeah,
that.
but you are
first
correct. You don't really want to play double notes if you've got the duet on because it's doing it for you anyway.
one.
But this just gives you something a little bit challenging to do for a couple of measures. Yep. So it's it just gives you a little bit of a challenge to play that second note in the right hand. Now, if you don't want to do that, guess what you could have done?
Duet.
Hit duet. That's exactly correct. See, now
Yeah,
you're
that's good to
I
learn
was
that.
ahead of you there.
now you're learning. That's wonderful.
Right.
Don't
It's good to
have
learn
to
that.
do everything I tell you to do. Everything I'm
Yes,
doing
you
is,
do.
is just to keep pushing, just so
Everything you
that you
tell us to do,
add
we
some
learn
extra
something
stuff.
new. Yeah, everything you tell us to do, we learn something new.
I hope so. That's
Yeah.
the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Yep. Okay. So that is My Heart Will Go On. I will give you fingering. Those of you who don't need the fingering, you can go to the beach or go make lunch or whatever it is that you want to do. Are there any other questions before we start this, before we do the fingering?
Thank
Is
you.
there-
You did a great job.
Thank
John,
you.
is there any chance you could tell me one more time on how to get rid of the strings with the
Yes.
um,
Yes.
Genius?
It's going to be on your orchestral. It's going to be in your red orchestral, okay? And that's where the strings are, is in that blinking genius.
Right, it's the number 2 is the blinking one.
Correct, and that's your strings that you want to get rid of. So you have to turn that off and turn off the lower right.
All right, when I press that blinking number 2,
And turn it off.
it stays on and the number 1 goes off. So
That's okay. But what you have to do is just touch it until it goes off. Because it's going to turn solid. The first time you touch it, it's going to turn solid. The second time you touch it, turns it off.
Well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me I had to touch it.
With you.
Okay. Then turn off and make sure your
Barbara,
command
quit
is off.
whining. Now, is the number 1 is supposed to be still on?
No, you're
Oh.
going to go back up and turn your piano on. Once you turn lower right off, you're going to go back up and touch the very first piano so that stays, because otherwise you lose your piano up here. So you
Okay.
have to turn piano back on.
Okay, so how do I turn piano back on?
Just touch it.
Uh,
Just touch it. It'll stay because you have upper on and piano.
Okay.
Those are the two that you want on. Those are the two lights you want to stay on. Upper on and the piano
Okay.
right next door. Those are the two you want to be the only lights on in red.
Okay, all right, now I hit number 1 again and piano 9-foot grand came back in the screen, no?
Yes. No, well, you didn't have, not number 1, piano, the piano button. Oh, you've got a Sterling, the same thing. If you hit number 1, it'll come on solid. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
If
that's
you've
what
got
I
the one
did.
where you have the only geniuses, yes,
Yeah.
then you want to touch Genius 1 again so it stays on because you want
Okay.
that piano to stay
all
up.
right,
Yep.
okay.
My
Yeah.
fault, my bad.
Oh, I get it, I just have, now I get it, okay. All
All
right,
right.
it's like going to
Dawn?
business. You have to do
Yes,
it.
Dawn?
go
it's-
ahead.
It's Jerry. How do I get your beginning and ending in your email? Are you going to
I-
have that and I can print it?
It'll be on Patreon and you can print it from Patreon. If you have troubles printing it from Patreon, hold on.
What's Patreon? What is that?
All right. Patreon is a paid site that actually helps Fletcher Music pay for our Zoom sessions, and it's like $5 a month. That's it. And you can go back. Every single one of our recorded classes, concerts, events goes on Patreon. Robert puts it up there, and any of the handouts will be on a PDF file on Patreon that you can click and download and then print it out. So you have all of our handouts that we give you. If you do not have, some people aren't able to print from their iPads or whatever, I am going to hit pause from recording.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Dawn,
Yes.
where would you turn Cascade off if you turned it on?
Oh, if you Cascades, I'm trying to remember. That's over in your harmony. And
Well, I mean, we're in a song.
I would turn it on. I told you where to turn it on. The first time you play it for near far, you can turn it on. Then you'd have to turn it off when you're done with the first ending.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Dawn,
Yes.
okay, I'm a little bit behind, as you well know. Will,
That's because you're the busiest lady in show business.
I know, but anyway, those sessions on Patreon, will they be on forever? Like,
Not sure. That's an excellent question. I am not sure how long those stay posted or how long and if they get deleted. Now, some of you help me out here. Some of you have been going back and checking all of my old Patreon classes, and it didn't start until like January, February.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Can you go all
Which-
the way back to January, February and pick up some of my stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's-
Okay,
It'll
so
show-
so far it's all
Good.
still there.
Yeah.
okay,
It'll show the most recent, and then there's, at the bottom of the screen, it says more. You hit more, and then some more come up.
It's all
Okay.
archived.
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't go on Patreon, so I don't know. I don't need
Yeah.
to review my classes.
And
I
you,
love-
And that website again, is it Fletcher Music Patreon? What is the website again?
Well, you can just go to the website. Go to the
Yeah.
website, and at the top of the website, you have things like the email thing, and you've got you've got all these different ways to get a hold of us. One of them is a YouTube thing. The last one is an icon that's a P, and that takes you straight to our Patreon page. Otherwise, you can go to patreon.com/Fletcher Music Centers.
and also when you first go on, you can put your name in the search bar and then yours all comes up. Or if
Oh,
you
okay. Very
Or-
cool.
On and his comes up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys for helping out each other on that because if you've been on it, it's I keep hearing it's very, very easy to get around.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some fingering. The rest of you guys, thank you so much for coming. I will see you Monday, Wednesday, and hopefully I will see you next Friday for Simple Songs number 15. And we're just going to keep it nice and easy. And if you want to get pushed, come to see me Mondays and Wednesdays. All right. Let's do
Thank you
fingering.
much. Appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. All right, page
Thanks, Don.
158. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Ken. Stay well. Don't do that again.
No more of that.
All right, F3, 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 F3. E2, F3. F3, E2, F3, G4. Second line, A5, G4, F3, 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 E2, F3, F3. Let's go to the next line, C1. Middle of the third line, F3, 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 F3. Fourth line, E2, F3, F3. E2, F3, G4, A5, G4. Top of the next page, F3, 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 F3. E2, F3, F3, C1. Second line, F3, G4, low C1, high C5. B flat, 4. A3, third line G2, A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, F1, E3, circle it. You want to make sure you get that crossed over. F4, E3, fourth line D2, E3, D2, C1, B flat 2, circle it, you're crossing it over, then a little check mark. Now, I'm only going to give you the fingers for the notes that are there. The second notes, you're on your own to find out which finger you want to do there. F3, G4, low C1, next line high C5, B flat 4, A3, G2, A3, B flat 4, A3, G2, F1. Turn the page. E2, circle it, it's a crossover. F3, E2, E2, F3, G4, A5, G4. First ending F3, second ending F3. All right, let's start the third line. G3, A4, low D1, high D5, C4, B3, A2, B3, C4, B3, A2, G1, F sharp 2 with a circle, G3, F sharp 2, E1. You might want to put an arrow on this next F sharp, make it a 4. That's just unconventional fingering. F sharp 4, E3, D2, and C1. Top of the second page, G3, A4, low D1, high D5, C4, B3, next line A2, B3, C4, B3, A2, G1, F sharp 2, circle it, that is a crossover, G3, F sharp 2, F sharp 2, G3, A4, B5, A4, and G3. And then I don't really have fingering written for the ending, but if you start with G1, you're going to be fine. Okay. Any questions?
Mm-mm.
This is a good song. This is a fun song to play. Yes.
That was very fun.
Oh,
I love the song.
That was a challenge.
well, it was meant to be a little bit of a challenge, but again, you can keep it as easy as you want. So no worries. I don't want anybody stressing that they have to do everything that I said. Okay?
You know what, Dawn? Did you ever do the song Footloose? It's in this book. Did you ever do it?
I don't think I ever did.
You know, for one,
What page?
oh gosh, I don't know.
Oh, you're not there.
For one moment, it's in the F's. Today or yesterday when I was looking at the book, I counted and I saw Footloose and I thought, oh, I think that's the one she's doing. And then this morning I realized, no, it's not. So I was listening to Footloose on my Alexa and I thought, oh my God, if she did that one, that'd be really crazy. And I thought, I wonder if you ever did it.
Actually, I never taught it, but if you do blues rock at 178 or twistin' with the altar style, twistin' under rock and roll with the altar style at 178.
Okay.
Okay. So I did actually at one time.
It
I
is.
did actually at one time listen to it, but I have never taught that one.
Yeah, that is a fast, crazy
It's a
song.
fast, crazy song.
And
Yeah.
I was surprised to see it in here, and I thought, because if you ever saw the movie, it's tremendous.
Mhm.
So anyhow, I just wanted to see if you
Yeah.
ever did that.
Nope, but you go ahead and use those backgrounds and have fun with it.
Yeah, well. We'll try.
178.
Yeah, 178. Oh, I know, but it would be fun to try. So,
You guys
but
are
anyway,
awesome.
this one today is beautiful. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you
What else
guys
did you
voted to
say
do this.
besides twisting on that, Dawn?
What?
What else did you say besides twisting?
Blues.
blues,
What? Hold on.
you said
75
blues
is the
rock.
page. Was it blues rock? Yeah, blues
That's-
rock at 178.
Yeah.
And I used rhythm preset number 1 on that, or
Okay.
vintage 1.
Oh,
That's what I have written down. So I must have done it at some point, but I don't think I've ever taught it.
wow. I'd love to hear you play it though sometime.
No.
No. Sometime, someday.
Nope. Nope. Someday I might throw that in for a concert. Just
Yeah,
because
that
it
would
is
be-
a
that-
fun song.
That
Yeah.
would be crazy.
You guys
Okay.
are awesome. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No, you're a sweetheart.
Okay.
I have a question. I might have to call you later about trying to get the pan flute down at the lower.
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is a new organ for you, isn't it, Connie?
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
have one. I, got fanfare and then I Inspire and now I got the marquee at home, but now I just got the Easy 10 back up here, up north.
Yeah.
And my manual here and I see pan flute, but I don't know how to get it down on the lower keyboard yet, so.
Okay. All right. Now, just a quick tutorial right now. Okay. And then we can talk on the phone and do it too. Your orchestrals are across here, and you have
Right.
2 commands. You have a black one right next to it that says to upper orchestrals on. And then you have a black one underneath it someplace that says orchestrals to lower right. And you want to make sure that those are both on. They should be if you just go to full band easy smooth.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you have the 2 commands, the 2 black ones on, that
Right.
means that one of those instruments is going to the top, and it's the solid light, and it's the one that gets held first. And the blinky light is the one that got pushed second, and it's going to the bottom. So
Okay,
in order to keep the one on top, you have to press and hold that. Press and hold the solid light.
Okay, there's nothing blinking. I'm gonna take my iPad over. Maybe you can look at what I'm looking at here.
Okay, touch and hold the solid light, and then you want to touch with a second finger. Touch and hold with a second finger the more.
Oh, good.
And then scroll, with your other hand, scroll until you get to pan flute. And then you should have the piano strings on top and the pan flute on the bottom.
Well, I keep scrolling and it's under the lower more.
Do you have pan flute in more?
I don't see it yet. That's
It
what's
might be
weird.
in woodwinds. It might be under woodwinds.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, okay, so I have to hit the woodwinds.
It's under woodwinds. Okay, all right. I don't have
Okay.
an easy 10 here, so I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Okay, right, I got a jazz flute.
You
Jazz,
got a pan flute too?
um,
The jazz flute will work.
I have a pan flute. God,
Now make sure that it's blinking. You got to make sure that one's blinking or it won't be on the bottom.
I don't know if you could. Are you seeing what I got here? No, oh no.
Where are you, Connie? That sounds right.
Okay, I don't know, something's not right, but I'll have to call you back.
Call me. We'll do it. Yeah,
Okay, all right,
we'll get it.
thanks. Okay,
We'll
bye-bye.
get it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Nope. Go play and have a wonderful time. And if you do have questions, you know where to find me or find your PA, and we'll get everything straightened out for you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.